upon me.
Alright, welcome to the channel, America's Reality 360, where we bring you the reality of America. Tonight, we're talking about the story heard around the world. I'm sure you know, somebody tried to take out Donald Trump at his rally in Pennsylvania. Alright, I don't want to go over things you've probably heard already. Every single person I know has reported on the story. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I've watched everything I can. I think with this video, I can bring you the most up-to-date reports. We have the name of the supposed shooter. I have some reviews, some responses from the mainstream media. We'll look at those. We got an eyewitness account from a guy who saw the suspect getting into place. So yeah, we'll jump right into it. First things first, I do want to say our thoughts and prayers go out to all the families involved. All right, you know, the left often says thoughts and prayers, that's a waste of time. That doesn't do anything. They don't even include it. Look into it. It's a real thing. They don't include it anymore when they say things. Biden came out tonight. I was going to show it. I don't know if I will. You've probably seen it. But he didn't even say thoughts and prayers go out to the family, you know, condolences, nothing like that. They don't care about any of that stuff. Anyway, so our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. We want to pray for people we care about. And, you know, we do want to take some of our time, give it to them, and really think about the situation and what they're going through. So as we know, right now, Donald Trump has been taken home from the hospital. He had a bullet graze his ear. He is okay. Unfortunately, a Trump supporter in the crowd, they did lose their life, and 2 other Trump supporters in the crowd are in the hospital, one in critical condition. So that's what I can tell you. And now we're going to look at some clips. This is the eyewitness account. Let's jump right into it. Check it out.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. Next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
Did they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
All right, so you heard that. Now I just want to point out this guy, he's a badass. I mean, check him out. He's got the Trump visor with the Trump hair in it, okay? And he's out there drinking his beer, right? He's watching this whole thing from outside the rally, and he sees this guy climbing on the roof with a rifle, and he's just like sipping on his beer. And of course his beer is in a the Trump mugshot koozie. So he's got his beer in my Trump mugshot koozie and my Trump visor with the Trump hair. I love it. This guy's awesome. Let's get him famous. Screw this Hawk Tui girl or whatever. This guy needs to be on the Circuit Tour podcast. Come on, somebody contact this guy. All right, next up, I got some videos I want to show you of the mainstream media and how ridiculous they are, as I'm sure you already know. But look at how they're trying to downplay the situation. They're trying to advert from what's really happening with their wordplay and all the games they do. Let's check it out right here.
Hey guys, Trump's been shot. When he got up, he was bleeding from the ear, but he seemed perfectly fine. He's not dead. He's fine. Like, my best guess, and this is just a guess because he was just shot, is that he it looked like a BB gun or something.
As well as you saw
he's clip farming harder than the new crop of FaZe talent. He's like FaZe Ronaldo. He's clip farming harder than Jinxie. He keeps throwing up his fucking fist.
All right, let me just say, I probably shouldn't have started with these 2 clowns, you know, Chunky Yogurt and his little ghoul nephew here, Hassan Piker. They're not really mainstream media. They're wannabe mainstream media. They're a bunch of clowns. But now I'm going to show you the real mainstream media. Not that any of them are better than the other. They're all equally bad. They're all equally wrong about pretty much every single thing they say. So, but now I'll show you what they call the real mainstream media. But just get a look at this lady that's going to be talking and listen to horrible things she says. And I don't know which pit of hell they drug this ghoul out of, but she just really looks like a demon ghoul type person. You know, let me know what you think. Check it out.
And then the biggest threat that officials are telling me tonight is in the form of retaliatory violence.
Sam, you're taking me to exactly what I've been underscoring and is
frankly, very concerning in the rhetoric we are seeing at this hour already. We are seeing some Republican lawmakers come out with statements directly drawing a line between the shooter, whose name we do not know. We do not know if he's a lone actor or was somebody else, but drawing some connection to the government. We have nothing to base that on at this hour.
At this hour, leading officials within the U.S. government still don't know what transpired, and it is frankly unpatriotic at this moment to be stoking the flames when we know that we are sitting on a cauldron of tensions. We know that tensions were already high before this.
A cauldron? Who says cauldron? Who has cauldrons on the mind? You know, like a witch? Look at her. Look at her eyes. Cool.
Incident, and the counterterrorism officials and Homeland Security officials that I've spoken to in the last few hours are deeply concerned that this event will be used as a rallying cry to launch attacks against individuals associated with the Biden campaign and lead to broader domestic distress. So right now, the goals are to investigate the incident, both the perpetrator and the security failures, as well as to try to tamp down any tensions that may arise coming out of it. Now, in this country, there is the First Amendment, and what we're seeing on Twitter, while it is First Amendment protected activity, I will say again, is unpatriotic in the sense that we know that this kind of rhetoric has a nexus to violence. We saw that on January 6th. We saw that in the attack against Nancy Pelosi's husband and multiple other instances.
Yeah, so isn't that crazy how somehow, you know, Donald Trump almost has his life taken, yet they're still the victims and they're the ones that need to be worried. All his supporters now are going to be scared about going to his rallies. I mean, who knows what's going to happen after this? Nothing's going to be the same. A former president almost got assassinated. This only happens so many times in history. This might be the most historic thing in some of our lifetimes, okay? But, of course, they flip it, and they're the victims, and they got to be scared, and they bring up January 6th and Nancy Pelosi's husband. You know, we can go down the list of things that happened to Republicans, too. You know, at the congressional baseball game, Steve Scalise got shot. Rand Paul got attacked by his neighbor with a baseball bat. You know, it goes on both sides. Political violence should be condemned at all costs from all sides. It's terror. It's terrorism. That's like the definition. Okay, so it's fascism, right? We don't like that kind of stuff. They say they don't like it, but anyway, of course they're gonna cry victim. They're gonna pretend that they have something to be scared of, just to take the attention off Trump and his supporters. They don't want you to feel sorry for them. God forbid. Okay, but listen, they want to talk about rhetoric. Let's go over some of the rhetoric that they've been spreading around, and maybe that could have led to something like this happening. I'm not saying that did, but just check this out. Let me know what you think.
Of course, it's Trump is a Nazi time again.
Let's deal with Hitler, okay?
I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that. I mean, that is Mussolini, Hitler-like language.
Trump's affinity for Hitler was always covered under an umbrella of his stupidity.
Echoing Hitler's words.
Listen to this. Well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right. Echoing the hateful rhetoric of Adolf Hitler.
That echoes Hitler.
That's the kind of language Hitler used in Mein Kampf.
About vermin and Hitler and Mussolini.
That's a horrifying clip. That's a fascist clip.
Just going full on Hitler.
From Hitler's Germany.
We just need to say, for the record, that the term vermin was really effectively used by Adolf Hitler.
Echo dictators like Hitler.
With language evoking authoritarian figures like Adolf Hitler.
Donald Trump parroted the autocratic language of Adolf Hitler.
Talk about the brilliance of Hitler's generals.
Correct.
General Kelly, yes.
All right, as you see there, they have no problem spreading around inflammatory rhetoric. Everybody knows it. They do it all the time. They're such hypocrites. They just accuse their enemies of doing exactly what they do. And some could say that kind of talk would inspire a crazy person to do something crazy. And that brings us to the person who may have done this. Take a listen to what Candace Owens said. She shared a tweet from, I believe, Tony Robinson. And listen to what he said about this person. And, you know, think about the group that they may have been affiliated with and where they get their orders from.
Okay, so Tommy Robinson is releasing a person's name. So he's someone that is well known. I am going to say what Tommy wrote about this person rather than saying the person's name. The reports are that this person is blank, a well-known Antifa extremist. He reportedly uploaded a video on YouTube before the attack titled "Justice Was Coming."
All right, now that could be speculation. We don't know 100% if that's true, but I wanted to share that just because of the whole Antifa aspect to it. But I am going to share a report from, I believe it's Sky News Australia, and they have a name, and I believe it came from the FBI or the Secret Service or someone like that. We'll see. Check it out.
But police and FBI have now confirmed it to be an assassination attempt. They say it is still an active crime scene. Police officially still not identifying who the shooter is, though, although they say they are close. They say they are waiting until they are 100% confident. Some complications have slowed down a positive identification because there was no ID on the shooter, they say, so they're conducting DNA checks, and they say there's no reason to believe that there is any other existing threat, so a lone wolf, a solo shooter. But aside from that, the New York Post is right now reporting the shooter to be 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. They've got a photograph there that has been published again. This is the New York Post. It's an image of what appears to be that shooter on the roof with blood on his face and security standing over his body. That there, one of the images of the day, the 20-year-old shooter there on the roof, Thomas Matthew Crooks. Again, this is according to the New York Post, a little over 100 metres away from where Donald Trump was giving that campaign speech. So let's back things up and recap what's happened today.
All right, so that's pretty much everything we know right now. Okay, Donald Trump is safe. He's at home. Unfortunately, we did lose somebody in the crowd. 2 people in the hospital injured. Fortunately, the guy who did this is done. He's out of the picture. That's a good thing. Hopefully nobody else is involved. Like they said, it seemed like a solo mission. So that's good. Like I said, we want to keep everybody who's involved in our thoughts and prayers. And I do want to end this on a good note. So check out what Vivek Ramaswamy had to say. And it's very important and it's very real. And I totally agree. And I think you will too. Check this out. Beautiful.
But I should say this, Trace, is that I personally believe that God intervened today, not just on behalf of President Trump, but on behalf of our country. If you think about this, 1 centimeter's distance in the path of a bullet was the future of not only Donald Trump's life, but I think the life of the United States of America. Imagine what we would be talking about today were it not for a hair's length difference in the path of a bullet. And I think that that's frightening. And I think that this is a moment for us all to step back. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, voting for Biden, voting for Trump, it doesn't matter. This is a moment where if one positive thing comes out of this otherwise near tragedy, let it be this, that first of all, we saw a president, a commander-in-chief, who in his most vulnerable moment, you saw it unvarnished. He stood up, he took the fire, he took the hit, and still stood up for the people who he stepped up to represent. And I think the other thing we have to take away is that this is unacceptable in the United States of America. This is not who we are. Disagree or not, we settle our differences peacefully through free speech and open debate, not this way. And so if one silver lining comes out of tonight, let it be that. And I hope that we begin the process of healing as a country while avoiding what could have been a national disaster that really, without exaggeration, could spell the end of the United States as we know it had this gone a different direction.
Absolutely.
Man, I don't know about you, but watching what happened on that stage just really fires up something inside of me. But yes, what Vivek said is true. It's like a divine intervention, right? God, he's the Teflon Don. He can't be stopped. He can't be touched. If you're a Christian and you're saved by Jesus Christ, then you understand how this works, okay? And Trump is ordained. There's nothing they can do. So fear not, okay? I believe he's in God's hands at this point. Our country is in God's hands. Vivek believes the same thing. And Trump, he's just awesome, right? Look at him. This is why I wore my, check it out, man. That's Maverick Trump right there, okay? That's our boy, all right? He's awesome. We love him. I think there's one more cool thing I wanted to show you, so check this out. Vivek had one last thing. We'll end it on that note, end it on a strong note for our boy Trump.
Vivek, you talk about rising to the occasion. I want to go back to what you were saying earlier there, which was the response of the former president after moments after he had been shot. And he got up and he said, you know, I need my shoes. And then he stopped and he fist pumped a couple of times and he said, fight, fight. And the response was USA, USA, because that's the natural response. At all of his rallies, he talks about fighting. It's been a theme. And the theme is they're coming for you, but I'm in the way. So you got to keep fighting. What do you think about that response and that having the wherewithal to do that?
Well, look, I think those images we saw, our kids and our grandkids are going to be viewing that image in their history books. That was American history tonight, and for the better. It was like the images of George Washington crossing the Delaware with the flag in the background. That's what we saw tonight. And it was one of those moments. Our founding fathers, they risked not only their fortunes, but their lives for this country. And I think this is one of those moments where we have a leader who has made a sacrifice. I'm personally grateful now more than ever for the sacrifices that President Trump has made, and I'm grateful that God stepped in tonight to save him for this country.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. That's pretty much everything up to date. I will be keeping tabs. I'm going to keep on this story, check back for more. I will be posting pretty much every day from now on. This story's got me really motivated. And, I mean, look what Trump's doing. He's fighting for us, Braveheart style. He's our Mel Gibson right now, right? The least we can do is support him, and I hope everyone's paying attention because this is very serious. Things will change. Just tune in for more because this is going to be an evolving story, and this is just the beginning. All right, so thanks for being here. I really appreciate you spending your time with me, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next video at America's Reality 360. All right, guys, later.